I'm pretty much back on Twitter now. So if you want to catch me on social media, Twitter is the platform where you'll really find me. Hey, whatever. And I mentioned Twitter because I was on Twitter earlier and I came across a tweet from a black woman author. And she said, when a writer of color says, my sales are low, sometimes simply because I'm black, or an editor looks at that writer's numbers and wonders why a book hasn't soared as well as planned, let's consider emails like the one I received yesterday. Talk about toxic things. And the email that Rachel was referring to, and she shared it with the Twitter community, with the sender's name and email address redacted. But the email was essentially like, oh, your books sound great, your novels sound great, but I detect a degree of affirmative action and wokeness, so I'm going to pass. Now, Rachel shared, like I said, shared this with the Twitter community, and a lot of people came out and they were just like, I mean, there's just an incredible show of solidarity. People were just like, I can't believe this. This is terrible. Fuck that person. You're better than me for redacting like their name and their email address. But it's one of those things, it really hit me because I understand. I understand, and it touches upon like this, I don't want to call it a fear, but I guess it is a fear that I have as a black screenwriter and author. And that fear is simply because I'm telling stories that are authentic to me. Those stories are inherently black. I mean, they're going to come from the point of view of a black man. They're going to come from a black voice. And I often feel that a lot of the gatekeepers, decision makers, just people in those positions, they aren't really receptive to that. I mean, sure, now it's in vogue to be like diversity, and we want diverse voices, and we want to include everyone, we want everyone's voice. And I'm just like, yeah, it's a good game, and I appreciate folks saying this, and I appreciate the folks who are attempting to put it into practice. But it really is something that I've thought about for a long time. It's kind of something that I expressed when I talked about putting my screenplay up on the blacklist or entering these contests. I have no idea who the judges are, who the decision makers are. I just often feel like because I'm writing or coming from this space of blackness that it doesn't really appeal to the sensibilities of these decision makers, these gatekeepers. There's actually a big fear of, y'all know I did that on purpose. There's actually a big fear of mine in writing my first novel, Guest List, actually all of my novels. But I'm using Guest List as an example because there were a couple of reviews that stuck out to me. One of the reviews was from a white person who was just like, I didn't think that I would like this because I'm like a white woman from wherever, but once I got into it and got into the story and the writing, I ended up loving it, however she put it, right? And then there was another review that actually came from a black woman, and she wrote about how the book was recommended to her by a white friend of hers and how based on the description, the blurb, it tells you what the story's about, she didn't think that this would be her cup of tea. It came off to her as being urban fiction, a hood book. And she was surprised that her white friend had read it and enjoyed it. And so based on that recommendation, this black woman picked up my book and she ended up liking it. And thinking about the email that Rachel got and shared, people come to our work, and when I say our, I am talking about black people. I feel that they come to our work with these biases, with these preconceived notions as to what it is, what this is all about. And they carry that with them in the experience of reading, or if you're a filmmaker or whatever, content creator watching. Like, I think that people have these preconceived notions and they carry that with them even through the experience. And even though they may say they enjoy it, maybe they actually do enjoy it, I think that there's still something that keeps them from really connecting with the work. And I feel that that's so problematic. One of the responses to Rachel's tweet was another black writer, and They said, I've had more than one person tell me they can't enjoy my book because the leads are black. I cannot fathom someone that can empathize with elves, gnomes, dragons, and bunny rabbits, but not with black children. You know, it is what it is. I'm not trying to make excuses, just trying to express frustration at what is yet another hurdle to overcome in trying to break into the industry, trying to accomplish this goal, trying to achieve this dream. It's not just me. Clearly, it's something that I feel that a lot of black writers, a lot of black creators face. And, you know, it can be disheartening. Sometimes, just like today, you know, to read that tweet and to think back to my own experience and then, you know, just to kind of wonder, like, all these contests that I've entered my scripts in and all these managers and producers that I've submitted scripts to, are they affected by a bias that prevents them from connecting with the work and seeing the talent and being like, this is someone that we should take a look at, someone we should talk to or invest in? Who knows? I mean, the script that I've been submitting, yeah, it's comedy horror, it's supposed to make you laugh, it's supposed to have its gore and its jump scares, but there are some moments of, I mean, I don't want to say wokeness, because that wasn't the intent. The intent wasn't to beat you over the head with wokeness, right? I mean, I do touch on certain things, you know, I touch on things like police brutality, the prison industrial complex, but it's not a message movie. It's not a message script. Just a little, you know, a few little themes in there that I want to touch on. But I wonder if that is perceived the same way as, you know, however that person, you know, that wrote Rachel perceived her work. See what I'm saying? Anyway, like I said, not trying to make any excuses or anything like that. I'm still pushing forward. I'm still working and writing my ass off, trying to create something that's undeniable so that even if my characters are black or the point of view is a little too black or there's some wokeness in there, it's undeniable, man. It's undeniable. So we shall see.